Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video called Why Americans Are Shocked by Polish Public Transportation. Oh, so they're shocked because it's good, probably. I think compared to the American public transportation system, average, I know that in some cities is a little bit better, but just the average, it's not very good. So probably they're shocked because they've never seen something that's good and that actually works. But I want to know how the trains look like in Poland. So let's check it out and comment, like, and subscribe.
Public transportation is a part of daily life for millions of people around the world, but it's not a universal experience. In fact, for many Americans, stepping onto a bus or a tram in Poland can be a genuinely shocking experience.
Because it's good.
This isn't just about the vehicles being different. It's about a complete contrast in how cities are built and how people get around. So, why are Americans always so surprised by public transport in Poland? Let's explore the fundamental differences that create this powerful culture shock. The first thing that consistently astounds American visitors is the sheer scale and density of the public transport network.
Oh, you can go
In
everywhere?
most of the United States, outside of a few major cities, the idea of a comprehensive, reliable network of buses, trams and trains is
Doesn't
simply
exist.
foreign. American suburban and rural landscapes are built on the assumption
cars.
that everyone owns and operates a personal vehicle. Shopping centers are often miles from residential areas, and even a
Yes.
trip to a friend's house might require a car.
Yes.
In Poland, however, the opposite is true. The public transport system is a vast interconnected web that reaches into almost every corner of a city and links
Really?
it seamlessly to neighboring towns and villages.
What a world.
Imagine being able to rely on a bus or a tram to take you to the local grocery store, the cinema, or a doctor's appointment without ever having to think about finding a parking spot.
What a dream.
This level of accessibility changes everything. It means that owning a car is a choice, not a necessity, for many people living in Polish cities. The system is so deeply ingrained in the urban fabric that it feels like the natural, default way to travel. This
Really?
stands in stark contrast to the American experience,
Yeah.
where the lack of such infrastructure makes car ownership a non-negotiable part of adulthood for the
Yes.
vast majority of the population.
Couldn't
The ability to
imagine you're
move
allowed to get a
freely
car.
and easily without a private vehicle is a freedom that many Americans have never experienced, and its reality in Poland is a powerful wake-up call.
I think it's crazy because to me a car represents freedom, but it's the opposite for them.
Adding to this sense of shock is the remarkable efficiency and reliability of the Polish system. American public transportation, where it exists, can often be a source of frustration. Buses may get stuck in the same traffic as cars, leading to unpredictable delays, and
Yeah.
train schedules can sometimes feel more like a rough estimate than a firm commitment.
Yes.
In
and some
Poland,
in a few
the
cities.
system operates with an almost military-like precision.
Wow.
Trams often run on dedicated tracks, isolated from the chaotic flow of road traffic, ensuring they stay on schedule.
That's a foreign concept.
Intercity trains are a preferred method of travel because they are fast, comfortable, and most importantly, on time. This level of dependability fundamentally alters the travel experience. A commuter can leave their house knowing with a high degree of certainty exactly when they will arrive at work.
That's incredible.
This predictability is a luxury not often afforded by
Yeah.
public transit in the US.
It's a
And it's a
luxury.
key reason why so many people there remain skeptical of it. The Polish system's commitment to punctuality and operational excellence
I think it's the thing you have to experience it and see it to believe it.
makes it a trusted part of daily life,
I
something
believe them.
that is a source of civic pride for many residents. It proves that public transport can be not just a means of getting around, but a reliable and efficient backbone for a city. A concept that is truly eye-opening to those from a different model of urban living.
Yeah, absolutely.
Furthermore, the sheer affordability of Polish public transport is a constant
Quite
source
cheap.
of amazement. The cost of a
cheap.
single ticket, a day pass, or even a monthly subscription is exceptionally low, especially when compared to the high prices of fuel, car insurance, and maintenance in
Are
the
those
US.
euros? What is it? 4
A
euros?
trip that might cost a significant amount of money in gas and parking in an American city can be completed for a fraction of the price on a Polish bus or tram. This makes
Really?
public transport not just a convenient option, but a genuinely economical one for everyone. It removes the financial barrier to mobility, allowing individuals to travel for work, education, or leisure without a heavy burden on their wallets.
This is a weird bus.
This is a
Fishy.
powerful social and economic benefit
bus.
that is not always present in the American system. The financial logic of relying on public transit is so compelling that it reinforces its use, creating a virtuous cycle where high ridership supports the maintenance
Yeah,
of
of
an
course.
excellent system.
It's a good
The
circle.
low cost is a clear indicator of a different cultural philosophy, one that sees public transportation as an essential, affordable service for all citizens, rather than a for-profit enterprise or a subsidized alternative for those who cannot afford a car. It's a
the
concept
opposite
that
in the
challenges the American consumer mindset,
Yeah.
where individual car ownership is often seen as a mark of success and financial freedom.
It's the opposite, yeah. And it's an alternative.
The experience is
You know,
also
because-
shaped by the very nature of Polish cities themselves, which are designed with a different philosophy in mind. In Poland, many urban centers were developed long before the widespread use of the personal car, and their compact, walkable layouts have been
Most
largely
cities.
preserved and enhanced. You'll find that public transport hubs are integrated into these pedestrian-friendly areas, making the transition from walking to riding a seamless one.
That's incredible.
This
to me.
integration encourages a lifestyle that combines walking and public transit, promoting a more active and community-oriented way of life. American cities, in contrast, often experienced rapid growth during the age of the automobile. This led to a sprawling,
True.
decentralized development pattern that makes
It's true.
walking and public transit impractical. Streets are wide and often lack proper sidewalks, and essential services are scattered across great distances, making a car the only logical way to get around.
Yeah, what
This
sidewalk?
difference in urban planning is perhaps the most profound reason for the culture shock. The Polish system demonstrates that a city can be designed for people, not just cars,
Wow.
and that this design choice has a direct and positive impact on daily mobility and overall well-being.
Yeah, designed for people
It's a
instead of
testament
cars.
to the idea that thoughtful urban planning can create a more livable and sustainable environment for everyone. Finally,
Sure.
the quality and overall atmosphere of Polish public transportation systems contribute to the sense of pleasant surprise. The vehicles themselves are generally clean, modern, and well-maintained. The stations and stops are well lit and orderly, and the entire system feels secure and reliable. There is a sense of collective responsibility for the upkeep of the system, and it shows.
Because I think sometimes, especially in the subway, as in probably New York, people do not act like they act like animals sometimes. So it's kind of crazy. Oh, people are civilized in the public transportation systems. Crazy.
This stands in contrast to some American perceptions of public transit, where older infrastructure and cleanliness issues can be a turnoff for potential riders. In Poland, riding a tram or a bus is a comfortable and
Not the
dignified
rats.
experience, not something to be endured. This high standard of quality makes public transport an attractive option for people from all walks of life.
It's attractive.
It's a symbol of civic investment and a reflection of a society that values shared resources. For an
it's a
American
communal
who
space.
might have preconceived notions about what public transport is like, the Polish system shatters those stereotypes. The efficiency, cleanliness, and comfort transform a simple journey into a surprisingly positive part of the day, leaving a lasting impression and serving as a powerful example of what is possible when a community invests in its collective infrastructure.
And you're happier.
In conclusion, the surprise that Americans feel about public transport in Poland isn't just about a good transit system. It's about witnessing a different way of life, one where mobility is a right,
a
not a
new
luxury,
concept.
and where cities are designed for people, not just for cars. The extensive network, the remarkable efficiency, the low cost, the walkable urban design, and the high quality of the vehicles all work together to create a system that is fundamentally different from what many Americans are used to.
It's just
This experience
opposite.
serves as a powerful reminder that there are many ways to build a society and that the choices we make about transportation
Yes.
have a profound impact on our daily lives.
absolutely.
It's a lesson in urban design, cultural values, and the simple elegance of a system that just works, leaving visitors to wonder why this isn't the standard everywhere.
That's what I'm
So,
asking.
the next time you hear someone talk about public transport in Poland, you'll know it's not just about a few buses or a tram line. It's about an entire system, a different way of life, and a mindset that puts people and efficient movement at the forefront. It's a powerful lesson in what's possible when a society invests in shared resources.
Yes.
If this video opened your eyes to a new way of seeing cities, hit that like button. And let us know in the comments what public transport system has surprised you the most and why. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
I love the video because it's not about public transportation. Obviously it is, but I think it's something beyond that. It really does illustrate how it's about city planning, but of course I think ultimately what, because you think, oh, it's public transportation, it's a tram, it's a bus, and it's just that. But no, I think it really does speak, and I think this video really did open my eyes to this. I think it's about building cities that are, I think a city itself, I think it can mean a lot of things, but one of the things is about communal space. I think that's one of the things that really did struck me. I think because when you think about, again, when you think about public transport, you're thinking, I think especially coming, from the American side, I think it's just something that's really something to endure, like the video mentions, like you're thinking, it's a hassle, it's a problem, something that you really do have to, oh my God, I'm going to have to mentalize myself. I'm going to have to take the bus, I'm going to have to take the subway. And of course, I think if you take it, every once in a while, I think it's a bit less. But I think you have to take this as a routine, because sometimes you can have a good experience. That doesn't mean that, oh, it's bad, it's a nightmare. But, sometimes you can have good days. Sometimes it doesn't have good days. The system just doesn't have good days. But ultimately, it's just kind of you're thinking it's not ideal, because the ideal, I think, way to move around in the United States, it's by car. I think there's only just one or two cities in which you can ultimately say, no, I'm good. I don't have a car. I can get around just by walking, or, with a bus, because our bus system is great, or, we have trains. And it's incredible. It's only, I think, maybe three cities, I think in the US you can really do say this. But what you want is, no, I want a car. I need a car. It's not just about want, it's a necessity. And I think that really does, it's just a different mindset. And it's a completely different mindset to, again, the Polish way of, no, you don't need to own a car. If you want to own a car, well, okay, go and own a car. But it's not something that you're sort of, you're not beholden to the car if I want to move around. And one of the things is really funny, because again, to me, I think a car just means freedom, because I can, grab my car keys and I can go everywhere I want to. But I think it's ultimate, and again, you can see the difference and the different mindsets, because I think, if this video does show, no, I think for Polish people, it's the opposite of that. I think cars do not represent freedom. It's more about, no, it's maybe not that much of a hassle, but I think maybe not, and I don't think privilege is the right word either, but it's just about, again, it doesn't represent freedom. I think freedom for them, it's the opposite. Freedom is the ability that I have to have a really good public transportation system that allows me to connect to cities that are opposite and towns that are opposite to where I live. That's freedom. Freedom means that I can just walk a couple of blocks and there's a bus stop, and then I can just go everywhere in the country just by this system alone. Maybe it's I don't know how it works in Poland. I don't know if it's they only have buses, they have subways, they have trams, trains, whatever. But ultimately, it's going to be a system that's going to connect you basically to every town or every city in Poland. So that's freedom for them, which is really funny, because to me, that's not, I get it. And yeah, I can see why, of course, they're gonna think that. But to me, I think it's really hard to sort of grasp this, because no, to me, freedom just means getting in my car and going anywhere I want to and going to every city I want to. But no, I think it's about owning, I think, as well. And I can really do see the difference. Because, a car also represents a hassle, right? For instance, if you go to a car, and I can see why it's more of a burden for them, you need to go, you think about traffic, it's time spent in traffic, it's time that you're spending sort of behind the wheel of a car. You can't do anything, you're just driving. And if it's traffic, then you're stuck in traffic. It's just time that it's sort of lost in a way. Not that it's lost, because obviously you're doing something, and not time is wasted. But I can see why you're thinking, you're stuck in traffic, you're not doing anything. And also you have to think, well, once I get there, whatever it is that I'm going, I'm gonna have to think about, where am I going to put my car? It's a parking space. Where's the parking lot? Is there parking space? I'm going to have to take, gas. Gas is expensive as well. And also parking is expensive as well. So there you have a lot of extra burdens. And when it comes to public transport, I think I can see why that's where the freedom part comes in, because yeah, you're dropped there, and that's it. I can just go everywhere I want to, and I don't have to worry in the back of my mind, well, where's the parking, like where I'm going? I'm just going to walk, and then I don't have to sort of carry the weight of, and there's a parking lot, and how much is for parking, and how much did I spend on gas? No, it's just something that I think that gives you a little bit of freedom. And I can see why, I can see the other side of the coin. I can definitely see why that represents, that of course is freedom. And also I think there is just a very, again, the communal experience, I think, is different. But I think because in Poland, I don't know if it's because, it's Poland or it's because it's in Europe. I think people are more, and then it's kind of crazy to say because I think Europe is seen as sort of especially I think Polish people are seen as a little bit more, I don't know if close, but maybe a little bit introverted, especially compared to the United States. But in a way, there's, I don't know, but they're all about the communal experience because you don't have to, maybe they're not talking to each other. I know how it is over there. I know you're talking to, your fellow sort of travelers. But I think ultimately it's a thing about we're sharing this space. And I think in Poland, probably because, again, it's Europe, everything's sort of closer together. So because you're so close together and everyone sort of lives very close, there's not a lot of space, including this, there, you have the tram, you have the bus, or you have whatever, you're going to have to share your space with someone else. And that doesn't mean you're going to be super quiet or anything. No, but again, it's more about creating a good environment because other people are in here. I'm sharing this this space and I'm sharing this travel with other people. So I have to be on my best behavior because I wouldn't like anyone or someone else acting, improperly or badly because, I'm putting myself in the other person's shoes. I'm not gonna like being treated like that. So I think in the United States, I don't know why, it can feel a little bit of the wild, wild west, I think especially in the subway. When there's just a thing about, oh my God, people do not have decorum. And especially I think in certain lines, certain hours, it just, again, people just leave there. I think maybe, I don't know if it's specific to the subway. I don't know what it is about the subway that makes all inhibitions sort of go. I think people are, we're beyond sort of, we're underground. So, again, it's a whole other, we're mole people now. Again, I'm exaggerating, but you can feel sometimes a little bit like this. So, I don't know what is it. I don't know, but maybe I think people feel a little bit less of, I don't know, that responsibility to your fellow travelers and to your fellow city dwellers. I don't know how to put it, but I think that's ultimately kind of what I'm going with this. I think it's just crazy that in other countries, I think it can be quite a shock to see, people are behaving properly, people are behaving correctly and okay. But I think it's because, again, you're thinking, the mindset is, why am I going to ruin someone's sort of trip? I want to have a nice time. But I think also I think the trains and the trams and everything that I saw looked incredibly clean. It looked pretty. It looked nice. I think it's just inviting. It doesn't look scary as I'm going to have to ride that. No, it's just it's a peaceful thing. Obviously, people are going to be happier in general because, you have a good public transportation system. And it can feel, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but it is because imagine having to commute every single day and again under those conditions, oh my God, you're hot. It was like the train was didn't have air conditioning for whatever, or it was very crowded, or it was late. I don't know, it's just so many other factors. You're going to arrive to your work at your office or whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to be in a bad mood. But in this, again, everything's so nice that, I'm just happy because, you get on time, you arrive on time to your appointment. You don't have the whole, I had trouble finding a parking space. I've been going around in circles for half an hour. No, you don't have that, which again is really nice. And yeah, every time I look at videos like this, and they did mention, it's going to make you think, how come we're not replicating this? I think all cities should have this because it's kind of wild to think that the city was built, I think, with this in mind, not with the cars in mind. It was built with people in mind, which I think is really important. And I think that's the Polish way. I think the United States is the complete opposite. I think cities were built with the sense of, cars are first because how are we going to get around? So I think changing that, I think it's possible. Yeah, it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of effort, money, and time, and, a lot of things. But I mean, it can be done, I think, where it's not too late. I don't think it's never too late. But yeah, it's going to make you think, how come we're not replicating this? It seems incredible. These people live incredibly happy lives because, again, they don't have, they're not stuck in traffic every single day of their two lives because if it's not public transport, which, again, it's a little bit of a disaster, if you don't have, the access to this, which I think is really important, which is the case for, 80% of the United States, you're going to need your car, and it's just either stuck in traffic or super long distances that you're just driving and you're constantly driving and you have to drive for an hour and a half or, whatever. I'm going to go I'm going to go somewhere and it's just you're driving 1 hour and a half or 2 hours just one way and 2 hours back. I mean, it's not that it's bad because driving is not inherently bad, but but you don't have to like it, and it's not something you're probably going to do every single day of your life, but you're forced to. But it should be, instead of like they said, a car shouldn't be a necessity. It should be more of a privilege. And again, some people it should be your choice whether or not I want to drive and I want to spend, a lot of hours of my life driving, or I do not want to spend that many hours of my life driving because I simply do not like it, which I think that's absolutely valid as well. And I think maybe that's why people in Europe are probably a little bit better drivers as well. But again, that's another story. But yes, I love this video, and yeah, now I want to replicate this, and I want to go and try the Polish public transportation system. I would love to see the subway though. I think we only saw how things work, in trams and buses. I would love to see a subway, or maybe they do not have a subway. Maybe subway is not really that much of a thing there. Or maybe in certain cities, and maybe they use more, the trams and stuff. But I think I'm very used to the subway. I know to me it's something that's quite normal. But maybe in Poland, they use, no, it's probably buses and trams. But I don't know. We'd love to know. But that was it for today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.